My name is Ria Pullin. I am the founder and CEO of Align with Africa. This is a passion project of mine. I came to Kenya for the first time 3 years ago, and it was almost like coming home. It was this strange feeling that I connected with these people on the ground. And I'm a mom. I have a 7 and an 11-year-old, and this was my first time kind of getting back to work full time. And I wanted to find something meaningful. I wanted to be I wanted to do something that my daughter could feel proud that this is what her mom was doing. I wanted to do something and leave something for them. And when I came here, we know what I saw, because I grew up in the United States with a narrative of Africa from when I was young, of poverty and babies with flies around the eyes and distended bellies and all of this stereotypical African sadness. And then when I came here, that was not what I saw. That is absolutely not what I saw. And what inspired me the most were the moms, the women. And that's where, I saw this human connection, like as a mom. Like we were just sitting together and she was doing the same thing I was trying to do. Take another bite, take another bite. And then when I found out, to get their kids to go to school, these women had 3 different side jobs where they were doing tailoring or beading or bombs to send their kids to school and all that. And I was like, wow, these are entrepreneurs. And that's the first word that came to my mind. And I live near Silicon Valley, and what I know as an entrepreneur is a white guy in a hoodie. And so it wasn't until that moment that I saw myself as an entrepreneur, that I could be an entrepreneur. And guess who inspired me? Not the Musks and the Bezos of the world, these mothers in rural spaces in Kenya and in Tanzania. And I was like, you know what? I had my calling, and I knew that people needed to see the beauty. People needed to see what I saw. In Africa, hearing the women's stories, hearing their resilience, their creativity, that to me was inspiring. And I was working in development, and what I saw in development was a lot of half-finished projects, which to me, when I talked to the people, were half-finished promises. A lot of promises to deliver, and it became this dependency on these little breadcrumbs to keep them waiting for more. And I said, there's got to be a better way. So I talked to my team and I said, how can we do better? How can development be better? And I said, what can we do that would make the most impact? And they said, we need to support rural communities because that is the root of the challenges. There are no opportunities in those rural spaces. So then people have to migrate, they have to leave, become refugees somewhere else. They have to leave their home that they don't want to leave because there's nothing there for them. So I said, let's create opportunity. How can we create opportunity? Let's support these businesses, these women businesses. Let's support these artisans who are sharing a craft that's been passed down to them generations upon generations. But because they don't see it as an economically viable path, it's not being passed down to the generations. And we cannot lose that culture. We absolutely cannot. So not only do I not want to lose it, I want to share it with the world. Just as people hold the Italians and the French at the high end of haute couture, they need to be on the same playing field. So I want to level the playing field by giving them the platform to play on that level, because the artisanship, the craftsmanship, it's there. The heart is there. And I want people to see where they're getting it from. So that was important to me as a storytelling, not just the product. So I have this idea that you buy this product and it takes you to a Meet the Maker platform where you can see who made that through video, through storytelling. You could see them making it with their hands. You could see the process from melting the copper all the way to finishing it, to putting it on. Because people, when they buy it in a store, you don't know where it came from. This is a way to shop ethically, to shop this is beyond fair trade. This is, I want to elevate these artisans to have prosperity wages, to have the working conditions that they feel dignified and that I can show them that this is a respectful trade. And I want the world to see it and to elevate them and let them tell their stories. So I have a very interesting way that I want to tell the stories. So I said I want to create opportunity. The rural youth, the ones who move away to come to Nairobi, to go elsewhere, they probably won't ever come back to their village. Then what? Let's create opportunity for them. So we're going to do a training in digital content creation and photography, product photography, so that in these villages, there is constant material coming in so that you can meet the maker. Because that's probably their grandma, their aunt. And who better to tell the story than someone that loves them, that understands how much heart goes into it. So they could be telling the story of the maker. And then I'm here on my end to then put it on a global platform.
Nice. And how that works?
Sure, yeah. So production zones, so actually the way that we identify our artisans is through our community work. And in our community work, the first thing we do is we go to communities and we listen. We want to do a full comprehensive needs assessment to know what's already there. There are probably CBOs, community-based organizations, grassroots organizations, already with the solutions to uplift their communities. They just don't have the connections to the development money. And so instead of the development partners coming in and dropping in their solutions and leaving, which ended up being not sustainable because the community had no part in that at all. So how can you take care of something? I have this, and this might be a tangent, but this is how I see the development. Imagine you're in your home. You're sitting in your home, watching TV with your family, and then people just come into your door. They don't knock, they just come in and start painting your walls blue. And then on their way out, they put their big stamp on it, and they take a picture to show I did something good for Africa. The family is left sitting in their home, confused. Who were they? I guess I needed a new paint job, but they didn't even ask what my favorite color was. And I had holes in the roof that is letting rain in, and that was probably a better priority for me than painting my walls blue. And then they want you to be grateful for painting the walls blue. That's how I was seeing development. And as humans, that's not how we should operate. We should come and meet each other as humans and listen. What are your needs? What are your assets? What do you have already here? So we do a whole mapping, and in that mapping, we find the artisans of these rural communities. And from there, from this community to this community to this community, in a same geographical location, we'll have a production zone, where it'll be a place where we can do quality control, work with the artisans to create goods that will sell on a global market, yet still capture their cultural heritage. So I thought it was just going to be a production zone. And then, they talked to me, they said, Ria, these production zones are great, but it's just for the artisans. Like, there's nothing for the youth. I said, well, how about these production zones also house the photo studio for them, that also house like a digital literacy center with computers and laptops, and then also have a space, because they said, Ria, we're people, we also need entertainment and wellness. I said, let's create a space for that. So then I wanted to change the name from Production Zone to Opportunity Hub. These are hubs of opportunity that are for the communities in the same space, for them to share the space. The artisans have a place to come. The youth have a place to come learn new skills. And I want to fill it with books and libraries for the kids to come. I want a place for when the artisans and the women are working, there's someone looking after their kids, reading them stories, and having a place for that. Because what is different the way that I want to do development and that Align wants to do it, it's holistic. The word holistic is never used in development. And it's always a one-off, 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 one-off. I want to think about these communities as whole people, because that's who they are. And I think if we have this narrative and storytelling of this way to do development that really connects human beings, the world will understand that that's the way that Africans should be treated, with dignity and respect the talent that's already there, and elevate it. So the most impactful, beautiful work we've seen is when we've supported these women-led businesses. And they range from, basket weaving to pottery making. The impact in that, from when we saw the stories So when they told us what they did with the proceeds was sending their kids to school, ensuring they could buy medicine for their family. That is what happens when you have women in charge of their own money. They will put it into investment in their kids, in their families, in their communities. So that's what I saw, and after supporting about 24 small women-led businesses and seeing the impact even after 6 months, I said, this is all we need to do. This is all we need to do. I told my team, this is it. Like, this is what we need to do. So now we created an organization where that's solely what we're going to do is we're going to create opportunities. So then the development can happen from the bottom up, from within the communities.